Let's be honest. We all love Tudor. Well, most of us at least. They offer great value, great brand recognition, and they just look damn good on the wrist. But for many of us, Tudor is often the cutoff point, mainly because of the rising cost of luxury watches. And as a result, we miss out on great watches from incredible brands. That doesn't have to be the case. When the Mad One was released 3 years ago, it took the internet by storm. I would personally go as far as calling it one of the most hyped releases in the last 5 years, especially within the hardcore watch enthusiast community. The fact that one of Max Busser's astonishing ideas, which typically start around $60,000, could now be had for under $3,000, created shockwaves in the industry, making luxury watch brands throw decades of tried and tested marketing strategies out the window. This worked, not just because the watch world adored Max Busser's down-to-earth and compassionate way of being, not just because of the unbiased democratization of allocation for the watch that eliminated any possibility of favoritism, leading to an entire barrage of new enthusiasts putting their names in. And not just because the fundamental design of the Mad One was so outrageously fun that it introduced a new way of interacting with your watch, with the main function being, look at the spinny spin. It was all of these points happening all at once that led to one of the most successful marketing stories in the industry within the past 5 years. This is the second chapter, now offered in a new slimmer case and a La Jouperet Swiss caliber inside. Now offers a higher power reserve of 68 hours and maintains the iconic battle axe shaped skeletonized unidirectional rotor that allows you to appreciate the well-finished caliber. Zenith is another one of those brands that shows you your inner rebellion. It doesn't quite have the name cachet of Rolex or TAG, but the technical achievements that the Swiss brand made place it in a unique position, giving it sort of a cult following. I feel like Zenith has a lot in common with JLC. Both made movements for other watch brands, often far more prestigious names, both having a technical heritage that is unmatched. And because of this, both brands have a special place in my heart. And while some of the more modern designs from the brand may not speak to the purists, the Chronomaster Revival El Primero A385 is an absolute cult classic. When you think of Zenith, this is what comes to mind. It perfectly encapsulates all of the hallmarks of Zenith, the legendary high-beat El Primero movement, the impeccable finishing of the case, and the iconic tonneau-shaped case architecture that harkens back to the peak of the 70s automatic chronograph race. With a compact size of 37mm and a slim height of just 12.6mm, you will be hard-pressed to find a timeless automatic chronograph that comes even remotely close to this. It's hard to be a watch enthusiast without wanting at least one Omega in the collection, regardless of how small the collection may be. While the Speedmaster Professional is arguably one of the greatest manual wind chronographs in the market, yes, I said it, there are a handful of reasons why you may not want one. A, you might be sized out. Or B, you might not want to spend close to $9,000 on a Speedmaster. Remember when those retailed for around $6,000? The Omega Speedmaster Racing Chrono solves both of those issues. Not only is the retail price significantly lower than a professional moonwatch, it also goes for almost as much as a pre-owned Black Bay 58 because of these being the pre-price hike models. But what separates these from the neo-vintage Speedmaster automatics is that here you are getting both the modern Speedmaster design and caliber. The watch comes in a 40mm stainless steel case with a lug-to-lug measurement of 45.5mm and a thickness of 14.7mm, which is contributed by the automatic coaxial caliber 3330. The in-house movement beats at 4 Hz and offers an above-average power reserve of 52 hours. While these now have been replaced by smaller 38mm versions, this 40mm racing chrono is a perfect middle ground in both the design and price. Cartier has become one of the fastest growing names in the luxury watch space, and this might confuse a lot of us. What are they doing differently that makes them so much more desirable when compared to so many others in the similar price bracket? I think it all comes down to three things. One, the entry ticket into the Cartier universe is relatively easy to get, with the Tank Must starting at around $4,000. But it still maintains the essential design language that is carried through to the higher end models. The second thing is the design. An entry-level Cartier has a similar level of attention, care, and experience as the more premium models. The designs have been perfected over the years and now maintained to make them look new and fresh without changing too much. And lastly, Cartier, in my opinion, creates the most versatile dress watches. Where dress watches are often seen as stepping stones in attaining the more desirable sports models, Cartier has managed to create elegant watches that work well when paired with a suit as well as with a plain t-shirt and jeans. The simplicity of the case, the facets, the crystal, and now the many strap options available from strap makers like Deluxe have given a new cool factor to Cartier watches, and this Santos-Dumont is no exception. And while this reference is on the larger side, measuring 43.5mm by 31.4, it still looks brilliant on my 6.2-inch wrist. And the fact that this has a high autonomy quartz caliber with over 6 years of battery life, it makes for a perfect go anywhere, almost do anything watch. Because you're only getting 30 meters of water resistance and a leather strap, I wouldn't swim with it. But for everything else, this is more than enough for your daily time-telling needs. Before diving into this final watch, we need to address the elephant in the room. And no, I don't mean this watch. Although, no, we love Panerai. But there's no denying that one of the strongest points of contention surrounding this Italian brand has to be the larger-than-life case proportions of the watches. Oftentimes, brands that are able to keep up with times perform a delicate balancing act of successful timeless design with minor adjustments on proportions. By simply looking at the watch dimensions on the wrist, a lot of times we can estimate the decade the watch could be from. Panerai broke that rule for one reason. They didn't want to change their DNA that stemmed from their big, bold, and tough watches. Unfortunately, that meant that the non-Paneristi, which makes up the majority of luxury watch buyers, did not resonate with the idea of wearing a 44mm chunk of metal for daily use when everybody else was averaging out at 40mm. But none of this takes away from the rich history of the brand, where they would develop special tactical instruments for the Italian Navy alongside robust tool watches that could withstand extreme environments. So if you are curious about this brand and want to dip your toes in before fully committing to the modern in-house calibers and the price tags they come with, consider this Luminor Marina. Granted, it is from 2012, there are several factors that maintain its modernity. The PAM 298 comes in a 40mm steel case with a thickness of 16mm, largely contributed by that heavily domed sapphire crystal, and a lug-to-lug of 48mm, making it incredibly wearable for nearly all wrist sizes. Plus, with 300 meters of water resistance and the workhorse automatic caliber that is based on the reliable EDA 7750, this makes for a perfectly capable, characteristic sports watch that can work for daily wear. In my opinion, these watches act as a perfect gateway into these brands. They're old enough to be of great value, but new enough to be considered modern and won't run into service or water resistance issues that the more fragile vintage watches could face. Now I ask you, which of these would you pick? And let us know if you want to see more videos like this. You can support us by hitting that subscribe button and checking out Swiss Connection Watches website. Link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.